The United Nations Commission on the Status of Women will convene a summit at the UN headquarters in New York as part of Women's Month celebrations. This is an annual gathering where countries take stock of what has been achieved in relation to women empowerment and emancipation. South Africa will be participating during this important summit. It comes at a time when the data points to how Africa in particular has regressed with regard to the political empowerment of women. Many have attributed this to current global political tensions. Our international news editor, Sophie Mokoena, spoke to the Social Development Minister, Lindiwe Zulu. She's part of the SA delegation that will be attending the gathering in New York, which begins on Monday.
Message for South Africa in particular is about economic empowerment of women. And when the president was actually chairing at the time the AU, one of the things that he did was to lift up the issues of women economic empowerment. But today what is also exciting is that we are here at the Motsepe Foundation, and per the invitation of Dr. Patricia Motsepe, also the line is about women economic empowerment and gender parity. So as South Africa, we are part and parcel of the global engagement of women emancipation, women empowerment, but also we are part and parcel of an agenda that says it is time for women to be recognized for the contribution that they made towards humanity in general, firstly, but also the contributions that they are making both politically, economically, and otherwise in their individual countries. I think that South Africa is one of those countries that are really on the forefront in as far as women emancipation and women economic empowerment is concerned.
I looked at the report that was presented by the World Economic Forum in terms of where we are as Sub-Sahara or Africa. Why are we now regressing?
Remember that when the presentation was being made, she spoke about the impact of COVID-19 and the manner in which it impacted and affected women in particular. But that shouldn't be an excuse. Why we are regressing is because we still need to deal with the issues of patriarchy in our communities. Because you cannot be talking about economic empowerment and economic and leadership of women only at a political level where the political party, and in this case the African National Congress, has really pushed for the issue of women empowerment, but you leave it at the top and forget about the fact that it's something that has to cascade from the top to the bottom and bottom up. It is a concern, obviously, that it seems like we are regressing, and we understand why, the reason why we are regressing. It's also the political dynamics within the different political parties, including our own party also, where the dynamics tend to be supporting more men than it is supporting the women, including ourselves as women, forgetting at a time when it is time for us to bite the bullet and say we want a woman president, we want a deputy president to be a woman, we want all those things, but when crunch time comes, we are among the people that end up voting for the males. But also, this is because of patriarchy. If we cannot locate this to the issue of patriarchy, if we cannot locate it to the issue of power and what power comes with, it is a journey that I personally believe we have to continue supporting women at all levels for empowerment, and at all levels to make sure that women always also support each other as women at the right time. As a woman who was supported.
Who was carrying a gun?
Yes, of course. And by the way, I did that, and even then, Sophie, it was very difficult for us to be appointed as commissars and commanders, the likes of Nosiviwe Mapisa Ngagula, the likes of Ayanda Dlodlo, the likes of Tembi Majola, and all of them who were in the camps at the same time. But when the women dared at the time to say we want to be in those positions, it didn't take long before they were removed there. So I'm saying young people must go back to the history and understand and appreciate where did this very struggle itself start, why did it start, because if young women think they will just carry it at the top without going back and saying there are steps that were taken by others, let us build on those steps, but also let us break the stereotyping of women. Young women today are being made to focus on things that will not give them value. There's top politics that says they are apolitical, they are not interested in politics. Politics will interfere with your life if you don't get into it and understand it and appreciate it. So I'm happy that the young women, the generation of young women, not only at universities, not only at work, but even in communities, because this is where it has to start, Sophie. If we cannot fix this at community level, house to house, street to street, community to community, we will be forever complaining. But having said that, I also hope that we do not undermine the struggles that have been carried by women to where we are now. Let's build on how much women globally, the women in the African continent, in fact, the women in the African continent are the economic backbone, if we're to look at it. I mean, most of them are in marketplaces, selling one thing or the other. They are not in boardrooms. Many of them are not in boardrooms, but they're making sure that families thrive. They're making sure that communities thrive. What we need now as women collectively, we must support each other at all times, and we must rise to the occasion at the right time and not complain much later on when we had an opportunity and we didn't grab that opportunity.